Hello and welcome to this event stock management demo video. This is a product which we've created for people who maybe sell products at exhibitions or fairs or fetes or craft markets or anything like that. I will show you how it works. You can come to this video by clicking on the link here for the demo video. If you've purchased this version, make sure that your company name is in here. Otherwise, you can type it in yourself if you're in the free download version. Let's just get straight into it. So how the spreadsheet works is what it does is it will allow you to track up to 6 events. So you can put in the next 6 events that you're due to sell your wares at, and so obviously what I would suggest doing is keeping a blank version of the spreadsheet as a default, and then for the next 6 events open up the blank version, save as, and create a new sheet for the next 6 events. Now I've filled in some details here of the events, for argument's sake, Park Life, Park, so on and so forth. But what you can do is put in the event name, the event venue, starting date, ending date, starting time per day, ending time per day. And why you do that is just so that you can identify that event and also establish how many hours the event's going to last for. The reason for that is because if you've got a 45-hour event and an 88-hour event, you would expect to sell more products at the 88 than the 45. So for that reason, we're asking for the starting and end times. If you, for argument's sake, you realize that actually that total is not 45 hours and you want to change it to 43 hours, you can just put that in there, and then as you can see, it'll change that to whatever you put in here. You must enter time as hours.minutes, and those ones as well, 17.008.00 for starting times. If this is an evening event and that goes over to say 3 o'clock in the morning, you can put 3 o'clock in the morning and it'll calculate the right time, but just don't put that in as the 6th of November. Leave it as the 5th. So in other words, the starting day for the final day, because otherwise it'll add in an extra day. So they don't have to be in date order, these events, but you have event 1, event 2, event 3, event 4, event 5, and event 6. So put in as many details as you can for each event right at the beginning. They don't have, as I said, the events don't have to be in order of date. The spreadsheet will sort them. And then once you've got all of those events in correctly, with as many details in as possible, then you can obviously progress on to the next page. And the next one is your stock details. Now the stock details, all the red ones at the top here, you can fill in, or you need to fill in actually. So put in your stock item name. If you've got a code, you can put in a code for the item. You don't need to. Same with the supplier. If you're buying these products in and you've got a supplier, put the supplier in. It'll be helpful later on. If you're making the products, you can put in your main supplier for your main material. If you want to, it's up to you. If you can leave it blank, that's no problem as well. Minimum default stock. What are the minimum number of items for, say, for example, sample product 1 that you want to actually see? So in other words, if you've got 10, you're okay. If you've got 9, you need to order more stock. So if you put in a minimum default stock, that is what it checks here. So there's your current stock. This is, all the green ones here are all calculated. So this is your current stock. I'll show you in a second from your stock takes how we get that figure. But the current stock will show here, and your default will say yes, you're within the boundaries. So you say you need 10 as a minimum. You've got 25, so you're good to go there. It'll show you there 10, how many warnings, how many red crosses as in 0 stock. So green ticks mean yes, you got enough. This little warning sign in orange means that you're actually below that minimum stock default. As you see, there's stock warning, and the cross means you've got absolutely no stock, which means you need to do something about that quite urgently. This column will be your last sold. Now when we fill in an event in a second, when we do a stock take for an event, I'll show you, that'll show you how many you sold in your last event. And this usage is a very clever column. What it does is it checks how many you sold in your last event. It'll check for your last event, how many did you sell, and how long was the event. So based on the time and the number you sold, how many would you in theory sell in the next event based on the time of the next event, and that will also give you a tick or a warning symbol to say, if you sell the same per hour in the next event, Are you going to make it with your stock or aren't you? If that flags up as a warning, that's telling you that the computer thinks you're not going to make it, you're not going to have enough stock. But obviously you would know the events and you'd know the type of stock that you're selling, and maybe the last one was a complete flip that you sold so many. You would know more, so you can obviously choose to ignore those warnings, but the computer will warn you that actually based on your last sales you're not going to make it with the next event. So let's put in a stock take. Now, any items you add on here will automatically appear here. The green ones, remember, are calculated. So all those green columns are calculated. All the red ones you would need to fill in. So this is your starting stock before your first event, right? So you estimated before. You don't necessarily need this actual before, but let's just say, for argument's sake, you're bringing this data over from the previous spreadsheet, which I'll show you when you do the next spreadsheet. What you might want to do is, if you estimating that this is your stock that you've got in, and let's just say a day or two before the actual event you buy 5 more, then all you do then is you just go here and you say, actually the actual before is 30. You don't have to change all of them, you can just change the ones that actually do change. Or if you're getting towards the event and you realize one of these items are broken, you can actually just go and say, actually there are 24. You don't, as I said, you don't have to fill in the entire column, just the ones that change. Let's take that out for now and I'll just show you. Now, this is what you do after the event. You come to do a stock take. So let's just say when the event Park Life is finished, you're now actually counting your stock and you say, okay, I've got 20 of those, I've got 19 of those, I've got 48 of them, 52 of those, 38 of those, 17 of them, 27 of those, 18, 35, and 7. Now, as you can see, it's already estimating for the next event. So it's telling you what your stock is for the next event based on your ending stock there. But again, if you come to the next event, if you say, for argument's sake, well, we'll get to that in a second. There's your estimate. That's what you sold. Now, if you go back, you can now see actually there the current stock. That one is below. You should have 20 as a minimum. You've only got 17. That one you should have 10. You've only got 7. And actually, that one, because you sold so many in the because you sold based on what you sold in the last event, in the next event you may not have enough stock. So you sold 11 last time, you got current 19, but the next event's much longer, so you might run out of stock on that one. So that one's just giving you a warning. Yeah, so that is giving you an indication of what stock you need and what stock the computer thinks you might need and what stock you think you may need based on your minimum default. You can also then go to the event report after the event and click on the event, and you can go to Park Life, and that will bring up all of these stats for you. So it'll show you the dates, venue, event length, estimated sales of the event. That's based on your stock, that the difference between the two stock amounts. That was your estimated sales. The difference between the two stock amounts based on the selling price. That's the cost of the stock that you actually sold. Estimated profit and estimated profit per hour. It gives you those specs, obviously based on the figures that you've entered, and it shows you your top 20 selling items at that event. Now obviously we've only entered 10, so they've only got 10 there, but if you've got, say, 60 items, it'll show you the top selling 20. So that's a good report to have. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll go and take a look at the required stock report. Based on obviously this stock there, all those things that are flagging up. If you have a look at the required stock report, it'll list the items that you are requiring. So here we can see it's obviously listing sample products 6, 10, and 2. They're the suppliers, they're the codes, they're the prices. Current stock. To make default, we need 3, 3, and 0. We don't need any of those to make default. But to make the prediction of the next, what the computer's predicting for the next sale, 0, 0, 3. So you can decide whether you want to follow that, whether you want to follow that, whether you want to follow the two together, which ones you want to ignore. But this basically just lays out exactly what you need in order to reach those. So in other words, that will be your basic cost. If you want to reach your default, that will be your cost. If you want to reach your prediction, obviously if you want to reach both, it's the two together. So if you'd like to see, as you can see here from this, if you scroll down, there are 75 items on this list. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you've got 80 items and you want to see the rest of the items. You can go over here and click onto page 2. This doesn't have a page 2, but then you'll see there's 76, 77, 78. So you can see what the items are on that, on the next page. Just keep that in mind. That goes yellow because you don't want to leave this on page 2, because if you call this up next time you might not realize that's from 76 and you may miss them all because they might all be on page 1. So just go back to page 1 again. You should normally, I would imagine, you probably wouldn't be needing many more pages than that, but you can actually scroll all the way down through to page 34. If all 2,500 items are owing and you've got a really long list of things to order, you can check through them. You can also select by supplier. So if you click on here and you actually scroll down, you go, actually I just want to see supplier 10. Then what happens is supplier 10 will actually come up and it will show you sample product 10, supplier 10, so on and so forth. And you'll be able to see a list of all the products where supplier 10 has actually supplied you. So that is that page. If you want to see all the suppliers, just leave that blank and it will show you all of the suppliers. And yeah, so that shows you your required stock report. You see in the event reports of the event report there, and then that's how you actually continue. And next time you go on, let's just say for argument's sake you have a look at your required stock and you actually order 3 of each of those ones. Then all you do is product 2, 6 and 10, you're going to order 3 of each. Then all you do is you go to your stock take before your next event. Product 2 you've ordered 3, so that goes to 22. Product 6 you've ordered 3, so that goes to 20. And product 10 you've ordered 3, so that goes to 10. Then when you go back to your stock details, you see all green ticks, you're all good to go. You've got enough based on minimum default, and you've got enough based on what the computer thinks you're going to use for your next event. Then the next event, after the event, you fill in over there to say that's the number I've got after the event, and again it will do the same thing, and it will show you your current stock and what your values are. It will show you your required stock report of what you need. You'll then be able to select the next event and get all the details for that event as you go along for each of the 6 events. When you've finished and you've done all 6 events and you want to do a new spreadsheet, you're not able to sort these into alphabetical order, because if you sorted these, then those would change and then these figures wouldn't relate to what you've got there, and it causes a major headache. So I've stopped people from actually sorting this page. When you get to the end of the 6 events, what you can do is you can come over here to the red bit, you can highlight all of your data as there, you can go edit, copy, you can go to your manual sorter, right click there, go paste values all into there. Then you can go to your stock takes. Now what you want to do, you would have an actual after here, I would imagine, as your current stock levels, but if you don't, what you can do is you can go to your event, you can go to your stock details here, and you can take your current stock details. So if you copy your figures there, copy, that's your current stock. You can go to that manual sorter, right click, paste again, values. So now you've got all of these into in one place. Now you can sort. So let's just say for argument's sake you want to sort it the other way around, so you want to go Z to A. Okay, this doesn't do it properly because you've got numbers and letters, because it thinks 10 is less than 1. But if you've got product names and supply names in obviously without numbers, they'll all go into alphabetical order. You can then change those, and these will all change accordingly. So you watch there, the 35s at the top. If you change it there, it does switch around. So you can then resort this how you want it. Then all you do is you copy the red section again, edit, copy. When you open up the new spreadsheet, paste the values into here, so you've got that from the previous spreadsheet, so you don't have to retype up all of the stuff again. And then what you do is you go to your manual slider, you copy those. without resorting this again, you copy those and you go to your stock details, stock takes, and you can right click there and say paste values and into the new spreadsheet, and then you'll have those values alongside each of the products, and they'll all be in the order that you wanted them to be as far as this is concerned. So in between each 6 events, you'll be able to use this page to paste all the relevant data that's going to be transferred to the next spreadsheet, sort it, and then paste it into the new spreadsheet in the correct place, and they'll all be in the right order. So then each new 6 events, you would obviously have all your items in alphabetical order. But obviously, if you want to add in a new product in the middle of the 6 events, just add it onto the bottom, and you can sort it after the 6 events, if that all makes sense. So yeah, I hope that this has been helpful to you. If you're using the free version, and you obviously there will be limitations on the free version, but if you're wanting to purchase this one, please take a look at our website and buy this product. And yeah, we hope that it really serves you well. Thank you very much. Goodbye.